After a few months, we are right now watching XRP showing some signals that it can have a volatile day, but the signal gives you the idea that it may follow what Bitcoin does as usual, but this time it may actually go up. It may break to the upside. Now, what are the signals which the market is giving to us right now? If you follow this, you will get the idea of what it is showing you and how this is playing out, so you now have a better understanding to look at things and say, okay, this is what I'm looking for and this is my levels and I think this is going to happen. So that's what we're going to discuss along with the fundamental things evolving, some from India, some from US. You are right now watching the world acting on something. Yes, we do have negative and positive news. We're going to break that down here. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Now we are looking at Bitcoin on a macro. You kind of see like, okay, I think there is a possibility that the price is showing you some reversal signal, which is similar to that of what we got here before the previous run up. Fine. So you're like, okay, let me zoom in, see what that looks like by removing all of those. And it kind of shows you like, okay, you got a reversal signal, a candle which signal you like it's a hammer. Then the price followed. And right now you're getting that. So how does that look like? Here, this particular candle is matching up with this. But the only difference is this time you don't have too much room to the upside compared to the moving average. Here you did. Now, what's that level like? So you literally zoom in to see, do we have some room to the upside? And then we also observe last time when we got this engulfing candle showing a bullish signal, it was not the first one leading all the way to the upside. We also had a correction before we started that move. So that means this time around when we are starting that run to the upside, most likely this range is the key. If we are slowing down close to 23,600, then we may actually come back down, make a double bottom and go up. But that particular range is a little bit more than that. It's also a support resistance zone and the moving average, which is now at the same place. So when you are going to that area, keep in mind it is important to watch that break to the upside or you buy the retest and a bounce, because at that time what happens, the moving average will be below the price like this. You get opportunity to get that retest here and the bounce. So the market is going to bounce. So this is why now you go into a short-term chart of XRP. And the short-term chart for XRP shows you clearly, it kind of had this long wick candle here and the price slowly moved up. Now, it didn't last much because this level of resistance at 0.4 slowed down the price. But right now, if we are looking at that as a bullish candlestick pattern, then we may actually go to 0.385, consolidate there, that's a level of resistance. And then if we manage to break that, given that Bitcoin is also breaking higher, we may see XRP following that, because this time around 0.39 is going to be a trendline resistance. And if we manage to break that, go above 0.4, that does mean you are breaking towards the new upside. And that's interesting. Why? Because on the other side, we are observing that dollar is here. This week actually closed just below the long-term range. So we are literally observing that this range should hold. Most likely we would get a rejection. Now we really don't know if the candle opens on the Monday way up here. That's going to surprise me. But understand that the narrative is out there. You also get some interesting news where people are giving you the fear like, okay, Fed may actually go do another 50 basis point hike. And I'm like, okay, unless they do that, I wouldn't call for that. Why? because they were literally doing 75, 75, 75, 75, and then they slowed it down 50. Then they slowed it down 25. So if they are about to go to 50 right now with all these layoffs and how the economy is functioning right now, that would look so bad in my opinion, right? So in that aspect, we may actually see the price slowing down. Yes, this is a bearish pattern, but the issue is the indicators still show you the market is still having the strength. It is going to overbought territory, and usually there you get some momentum. If you look at the price action last time, when you entered there, you bursted through. It didn't actually give much to bears. It actually went through, kicked them out, and then corrected. So that's going to be something of interest, right? If the market is moving on that direction. Now, you go look at the stock market on the other side, and as we've been talking about this from some time, yeah, this is a range which needs to hold and bounce to the upside. But what happened? We broke to the downside here. That is now a retest, coming back to the trend line which we broke previously. So if we are not going back up, bouncing from here, it's going to be a little bit of pain, and that's what we are observing. Now, if you actually remove that and look for support, you will actually observe this previous level of support, which eventually turned into a resistance too. You got the price getting resisted close to that range. Great. So now that's a support resistance zone from 2022 Feb. So it's been holding just recently. And that's like a new range if we go on a macro, because this literally it's a new range. You are kind of in the price discovery looking at last 2-3 years. We never saw this high. So the question would be like, okay, are we going to the upside or to the downside? So on the price action pattern side of this, you can actually put an argument like this. We went to the upside. We are consolidating there without coming back lower, which means someone is interested in buying this asset or buying everything which the sellers are selling. So this is going to be really interesting couple of weeks ahead. If we close this weekly, which we already did, below the 21-day moving average, and the next candle, if we are opening below that and going down, that's bad. Now we are looking for a major drop in the stock market. If that week's coming back up above the moving average, that's going to be something like this. You did go below that, but eventually you came back up. So now we go back into the crypto market. We really want to actually understand what the hell is happening there, right? So we are looking at the altcoin market, and the altcoin market kind of gives us the clear idea like, yeah, we had a weekly candle which engulfed these 3 weekly candle and this 3 candle, which is the most important part. If you zoom in, what is that you see here, which was concerning initially, right? We talked about this. We got this scenario which was turning bearish, but then you just got an engulfing candle erasing that limit. That was actually good for us because it is. Now, the reason I'm saying it's good is because the pairs were invalidated. Now, it's like you are retesting that range. So you go into a daily chart to see, okay, are we really doing that? So you come back here, you see that the price actually went up. You were consolidating close to this range, the first range. Then slowly you were creeping up to the upside. And then you got rejected. But now the major concern would be, okay, this is the trend line which you actually were following. And you did not happen to reach this level. You just slowed down a bit before that. Now, if we follow just the recent resistance, yes, we did hit that, but we did not actually hit the previous support. So that's like, okay, price is a little bit slow there, which means you may actually come back down here. Now, if we put that in the numbers, that means we may have another 3 to 5% downside in the altcoin market. Right now, when we go on to the altcoin market side of this to get an idea of what it's doing, it's still close to $1.1 trillion. Remember, we are talking about this level from some time. The market goes up, it comes back down, it fluctuates there, money is moving in and there. And if you're positioned correctly, say most of these assets which you're observing right now has gone down around 20 to 30% in last 3-4 days with the correction happening in Bitcoin. So that's 30% down. I do remember what Peter Lynch used to say, when the market goes down 15%, my portfolio is down 15%. Now, if you're in a levered position, multiply with your leverage. But that's how things happen. And if the price is going back up, you are following the market. So the market volatility is always there. You cannot neglect the fact that it will come every single day. It can be to the upside, it can be to the downside. But how we take benefit of that in at least a short to medium term is going to help us. As we talk through the price actions, it's also interesting to watch some of these assets. Say if you're actually going to take Hydra here and look at what it's doing, you're like, okay, we literally went through a level of resistance, but we did not hold it up there. We got rejected. We are now slowly coming back down. We broke the moving average on a daily. We didn't even get a retest of that, right? So when we broke to the upside, we didn't get the retest. Now we are breaking to the downside. We are not getting the retest. So one thing is for sure and interesting, that weekly it is showing you some corrective action. Now, if you actually follow what's happening there, it's like the price actually went up 160%, and right now it's correcting back down. So on a trend basis, if you are looking at that, you wouldn't actually complain, because if you remove all this and you're looking at this one, you would say like, okay, we actually did go up and we are right now back to this level of resistance, which should be a support. So you kind of get an idea of what the market is showing you, right? If you're actually following the pattern, saying like, okay, the price is actually giving me a structure which shows me a ABC pattern, yeah, it's kind of okay, because the price is showing you that right now. So if we bounce from here, which I think is a possibility in this market, because the way the price is behaving right now for this asset, it is showing you that the price is actually coming back to the upside, but we need a confirmation, because on the short term, if you put this resistance, we are still below that. If we manage to break above that, it's going to be something interesting. Now, if you actually go on, look at Bitcoin right now on a short-term horizon, there is something interesting happening, right? Yes, it's still short-term. We're still below resistance. But what's interesting, the price actually tried to make a double bottom pattern, which eventually ended up with an engulfing candle. Now, what does that mean? If we hold the recent resistance, which would be here, we may start a new trend. Remember, it's an hourly chart, so a short term or micro term structure. Now, put that into a line chart, you'll actually observe that what we are talking about is this. You went up. Now, what you really want to see is this level holding. Last time it did hold, so this time we anticipate that it can. So if it does hold this particular level, which has been a support, a resistance, which should be the next support, that means the price come back down to this level and bounce. But again, we need to see this level breaking. Even if it is this one, it kind of gives us the understanding that we are starting a trend. So we will still be cautious, understanding that this is a short-term scenario playing out. But what we really want to know is, can the short-term scenario enter into a short to medium-term scenario? Because if we do that, it would look like a rounded bottom pattern on a 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. We'll go to a candle chart here and then look for this. So if we manage to break through this level, now it kind of gives you the understanding, okay, now the price is going to go back up to this range or this range, which we talked previously, as a resistance. So we need to see this going back up. But if we really don't get that, now that's going to be concerning. Now, one of the key points I would actually lay out there on that short term to support what I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, this is the level which you are consolidating if you look at the zone. So that zone is valid. Now, why is it a little bit important when you get an engulfing candle? Because on the indicator side of it, RSI is showing you that it's not actually going down or staying at one level. It is increasing. So the trend line is actually increasing. The lows are going up. So if we get a bounce from this level, it is going to be really interesting. And this is the hourly chart. So by the time we do the next video within 24 hours, we will see what the reality in the market is. So guys, if you received value for your time, please hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.